tell you we're all a confused lot. Here we are on Cricbuzz Live, 5 overs earlier than we should have come on for a Cricbuzz Combox. But then that's how life goes on certain days. India not expecting certainly to be bowled out for under 100. Let's not even talk about our predictions. Last time we had our prediction go wrong, at least we could make light of the fact that you add up the 2 innings, it came close to what we predicted. This time, even that's not going to happen. We need to add up 3 innings if we have to get to that. And the story, the very fact that Yuzvendra Chahal, who we considered not even someone who could hang around, played the most number of balls in the Indian innings, and you total up Kulcha, not as a bowling pair, but as a batting pair. They batted 70 deliveries. The rest of the Indian lineup played 115 between them, 9 players, 92 all out.
So the big peril of ask you, it's your fault. You're the one, you made the mistake. You asked us, without us seeing the pitch, you asked us for a target.
Yeah, well,
who knew it's going to stop? Who knew it's going to swing?
But the big question really is...
You were lost for words for 1 second. That's good enough for me.
I was, and admitted, we always have to go a little blind on the predictions.
But how wrong was the pitch report? Pitch report, people have actually been there, they've seen the pitch and they said, great for batting.
Exactly. But I'm still saying, assuming that they'd got the pitch report right, saying that it's going to stop, there's going to be a bit of swing, tread balls in the side, you're still looking at maybe talking about a 210, 220, not 300, not a 92.
Well, see, when you're talking about high-scoring games, okay, and you are batting first, the first 2-3 batsmen need to figure out, okay, what is the par score on this particular track, and what are the kind of shots which one should avoid. I think what we are seeing right now in modern day cricket is a trend developing where you get wickets like these, and the teams are not able to negate with the conditions. You know, they're still having that big score in mind, which is 300. At this point, halfway mark, you much rather be saying that, okay, no, you have enough. Yes, maybe we batted first. That's why we couldn't get to that 300 total. But you should get to that 250, 260 mark. And how do you achieve that? You achieve that by seeing of these the first phase of the game, you know, which is the first 20 overs. Usually, batting first team usually suffers with these kind of situations and scenarios because you don't know what is the good total exactly to set. Once you see this phase off, you've seen that the wicket did get easier. You know, you still had that opportunity of building those partnerships. You've seen it with Chahal, the way he batted. Like, you know, who of all the people were thinking, he looked comfortable. Yes, the ball was swinging, odd ball was nipping. There was that spongy bounce, which was a factor, which will be probably right throughout the game. But you have to give yourself enough chance, and that's something about seeing that phase off. This was the track where you are looking at scoring at probably 3.5, 4 runs per over, not really thinking of creating that momentum early on. You know, you can look to create that momentum. You know, you go back in 90s, how the cricket was played. You know, you go back to say 99 World Cup. What was the trend in that World Cup? Till about 35, 40 over mark, you would have, you know, teams batting at 150, 170 and still getting to that 250 mark, which is a winning total. So that's something which you have to be prepared for if you have to face this situation again. And when we are talking about World Cup or England conditions, you might have a day which is overcast. You know, you might have a lot, wicket might be offering a lot for the bowlers. How are we going to look at seeing of that situation? So the important thing is that communication again. You know, that's something which stays constant when you play cricket. You know, if you're bowling also, then also you need to communicate. What are the kind of right lengths, like how Trent bowled today. He was getting that ball fuller than normal what you've seen so far in the series. And the reason is very simple. The conditions are suiting these kind of bowling. So give yourself the best chance by hitting those right areas. Similarly, for batsmen today, the conditions are not allowing you to play certain shots. Then stay away from those shots. Find out, like, you know, this was a typical wicket where you will see that the batsman has to hang on the back foot, play the ball as late as possible, avoid those on the rise shots, and see off one phase, which didn't happen.
Zach made a very valid point about the ball swinging. If you look at how modern 20 overs cricket is played, and 20 overs is now coming into 50 overs cricket, is you see the line of the ball and you hit through the line. Where it leaves the hand, you pick the line, and with your big bats, you hit through the line, miss hits are going for 6. That's why wrist spinners are getting a lot of wickets in limited overs cricket, because the ball is hitting the deck and deviating away from the straight. Swing bowlers are getting a lot of wickets because the ball is deviating. If you hit through the line, you'll get out. And Zach also makes a point. See how many of the first 4 batsmen of 5, 3 were caught hitting the ball. Two caught and bowled, and 1 caught at cover. Which means straight away the ball is stopping. So the message going back saying thoda ruk ke aa raha hai. Ek do se khelte hain.
But really, right from the top, I was just picking up from the point, even before you got to 3, 4 and 5, your top 2 stalwarts were normally giving you 100 partnerships. One has got out to the swinging ball, Shikhar Dhawan. The other's got out to a stopping ball, Rohit Sharma. And that's where probably that communication right up top to Shubman Gill and to the 3 who played 14 balls between them. The 3 men who were in the focus of what's going to be our next topic, the World Cup squads.
It's a bad day to pick a World Cup.
It is.
But it's
or maybe a very good day to talk about it.
It's a day that happens. Just as 370 score doesn't make you a great batting side, 190 score doesn't make you a bad batting side. So.
Yeah. But
it underlines how good India are when the top 3 are scoring runs and if the top 3 are not scoring runs. You saw the Champions Trophy final. The top 3 got out in the first few overs and you didn't get any runs. So it just re-emphasizes that India is very, very dependent on the top 3, and maybe you need that circuit breaker if the top 3 are not scoring runs, the circuit breaker that didn't play today. When the stocks are on a free fall, you need a circuit breaker to close the trading. He was not playing today, so maybe you wanted someone who'd be, as he said, 10 not out of 40 balls, but ensuring that 6, 7 are not batting early.
Yep, well that's the case, and you had 2 bowlers. Very rare to have 2 bowlers. We know that Bolt, we were saying, he's going to bowl out 10, but we had Colin de Grandhomme also bowling his 10 on the trot, so that's going to be rather unique. 2 bowlers bowling.
Well, Colin de Grandhomme bowling those 10 overs was certainly a surprise, because you were not expecting against this batting lineup to for him to come up with his career best figures. So that's something. He's a bowler who is going to rely on conditions, and today's conditions were just about ideal. You've seen so many bowlers in the county circuit also. When you talk about English county, you'll see so many bowlers loving these kind of conditions, bowling that dibbly-dobbly pace, swinging the ball. You've seen Dinesh Karthik's dismissal. It was because of the pace of the bowler. He felt like he could reach out to the ball, and that's something which happens when a bowler of this kind of style gets the condition which are suiting him. You often find it difficult to negate, because you would go after the bowling. Because of the pace of the delivery, you would want to play each and every delivery, and with the movement around, you end up nicking.
I know what you're saying. I saw a lot of those. He talked about in English conditions a little bit. We played a lot of matting cricket on matting wickets in Hyderabad. We used to get these guys who used to bowl cutters. Just about medium pace, one in. Just they used to bowl the little cutters on the matting wickets. Used to do well. It was that Colin de Grandhomme brought it from home today. He just rolled up like a yoga mat. He just rolled up the track and put it out there and bowled on it.
But interestingly, we've talked about New Zealand. They would have liked to have a surface like this, maybe in the first match of the series, set the trend, then have India come back into the series in a batting situation. It didn't happen here. It's 3-0 down. But can we expect anything similar on a cloudy day in England, on any of the surfaces, come 2019? And if we do, then lessons to be learned from here are important.
Absolutely. So you're talking about World Cup squad.
Yes.
How are we?
We haven't got to the squads yet. Let's just talk about World Cup lessons.
But
I think World Cup lessons.
Chopping the vegetables before putting the spice in.
We've always been talking about what are the concerns for Indian team going forward, right? And this one point which has been debated, and that's why that debate also has been there about the number 4 debate, the big debate of the year, which went by was number 4 debate, and how the importance of number 4 batsman is going to be in the World Cup for these kind of days. What do you do when you have 3 wickets down in the first 15 overs? How do you get out of that situation? So that's something which is very important and vital. And here's the answer to that someone like MS Dhoni, these are the days where the value of MS Dhoni will be amazing for India.
3 for 4.
When there's a 350 kind of game, then you suddenly start looking at MS Dhoni's strike rate, because at 350, then you think he's consuming too many deliveries. But in a 230 game, we saw that when him and Bhuvneshwar were in Palika, was it in Sri Lanka? When India lost all those wickets to Dhananjay.
Yeah.
Him and Bhuvneshwar Kumar took the score up and India won that game. Bhuvi scored most of the runs towards the end, but Dhoni ensured that you didn't have a circuit breaker. So in a 230-240 game, he's the perfect batsman to have. In a 350 game, then maybe he floats or he comes and bats differently.
Wonderful part of Indian cricket this is when he's in the team. We're wondering what is he doing? Why is he not playing the way we want him to play? Now that he's out for a couple of games, bring him back.
Because he has his strengths that that would have been useful today. On some other days, he's probably using too many deliveries.
Yes. Right, we're going to come to that. I'm going to throw a little bit of trivia to you before we go to the My World Cup squads. Kuldeep Yadav, only the second time in Indian history, a number 10 has been the top scorer. Sorry, Yuzvendra Chahal was the top scorer. Kuldeep almost got there. The last time it happened.
That number 10 was a top scorer?
Yes.
In a limited overs game?
Yes.
Zaheer Khan.
It wasn't, otherwise he would have known it.
I don't know. I thought you were asking me because he's sitting here.
I wish it was as beautiful as that, but yeah. Someone from
but he was, I still remember I was there in that last wicket partnership.
In Dhaka?
In Dhaka, where he outscored Sachin in the last wicket partnership.
Yeah, I was
he scored more runs in the partnership. And you were waiting down to do the interview at the end.
Yes, on the boundary line.
And he made you wait for
delayed
such a long
time.
time.
It was not a nice thing to get out.
I was trying hard to
Yeah,
get
because
out.
you get 9 down and you already start
Correct,
making your plans and you get in there. Khalil was nice enough today that he didn't make us wait too long. But yeah, it was one of those things. You waited and waited and waited. You always knew he could bat, but one of those. Just decided that he didn't want to bat too often. We often said that about you. You can say it to your face right now. All the talent in the world with the bat.
Yeah.
But never lived up to it.
I had to focus too much on my bowling.
Fair enough.
And making sure my body is ready to deal with the pressure.
Okay, so it's not him, but it's someone from his fraternity.
I'm thinking, could it be
Canada?
Could it be Javagal Srinath?
It is Javagal
Srinath? Yeah.
Yep.
Because Srinath fancied himself as a batsman so much that he actually got people to send him to bat at number 3 as a pinch hitter. And he could bat. By the way, he could bat until he hurt his... he was afraid of hurting his hands.
Yeah.
I think he broke his finger a couple of times.
43 at the Toronto Cricket, Curling and Skating Club.
Which year?
1998.
So 98 they were playing against West Indies.
So Toronto, you're talking about those wickets, how much help used to be there in those wickets.
Yeah.
This was the same year as the Commonwealth Games. When we had half the squad in Malaysia, half the squad in Canada.
Correct, I remember.
Right, now we've built up to it. Now let's tell you exactly how it's going to work. Hashtag My World Cup Squad. We want you to start bringing in your squads. We're, of course, going to have our experts getting in their squads first up, because that's why they are in the position that they are. So these 4 gentlemen, you'll see their squads.
Why is Ajay always the coolest one? Ajay always is the coolest one in his kurta and goggles and...
Yeah, looking away from that. No, everyone looks pretty cool in there, but really it's going to be about the squads that you put in there. And remember, yes, of course, we're going to start with Team India's 15, but we're going to be ultimately looking at all the World Cup teams building up. We're going to continue on Cricbuzz Live during the IPL, and that's when the likes of us will slip in there. We've got a little bit more time to ponder. They're not happy about that, but...
No, I think we should pick 2 teams. We picked one today. I'd still like to pick one on the last day of the India-Australia one-days. When you got another 7 games, and we'll still have picked it 1 month, a month or so before we need to.
So there are 7 ODIs to go.
7 ODIs. 6 to go after today. 6 to go after today.
So after the last ODI is played.
So as of today, this is the team that we've picked.
Fair enough.
If the World Cup team had to be picked today.
All right. So let's go and look at it. The first of them is Harsha's team. And let's have a look at the first of our teams. Hashtag My World Cup Squad. And let's have a quick look at it. This is it. Take us through the team.
It's not the best day to pick a team, but
how many are there?
15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15.
Okay.
So I worked on the principle that you need 8 batsmen and 7 bowlers, because you'll pick 6 batsmen and 5 bowlers. So you have 2 reserve bowlers, 2 reserve batsmen. So 8 and 7. So I picked 8 batsmen. I picked Hardik Pandya among the bowlers because you need that all-rounder anyway. I'm still bullish on KL Rahul in a white ball game, but I think he's a borderline selection at this stage. Ambati Rayudu and Dinesh Karthik had the big opportunities today. So I think those 3 are still a little open. But if I had to pick the team today, that would be my team. because I think you want a reserve opener. In case Shikhar Dhawan strains a hamstring or Rohit Sharma has a hamstring, which of those is going to open the batting? You don't want Dhoni to open, you don't want Karthik to open, or the odd day Kohli might open, but that's how I've gone with 3 openers. You need the 3 spinners only because you have to have Jadeja in the squad in case something happens to Pandya. Jadeja will bat at 7. But the moment you have Pandya and 3 spinners, you only have room for 3 quicks. So I had actually Umesh Yadav in my team. I had Umesh Yadav as the 4th seamer in my team, but that makes it 16. So that's my 15 if it was picked today. The reason I'm saying wait till the 5th one-day is I'm absolutely certain Rishabh Pant will be in the side for those games in against Australia, and I'd like to see how Rishabh Pant goes, because I think Rishabh Pant has a great opportunity of being in that side.
Fair enough. But at least before we look at Zaheer Khan's side, we were having a chat off
Don't ask Zaheer to comment on my team.
No.
Get him and go away.
The beauty of it is you know you're in a good space when the bulk of your team has selected itself, and that's what these gentlemen were discussing a little while ago. It's just those few slots that are up for grabs. And let's see.
All I will say before you go to Zach, for all those people watching this, is I said today is not a great day to be picking a side, but today is only one day. You don't pick or drop people on the basis of one performance. You look and see what they've been doing over the last 15 games. Yeah. So you might look at it today and say, hey, what is this? Between them, Raidu and Karthik and Kedar Jadhav scored only 1 run and played 14 balls. But see what they've done over a period of time.
Also, what you could have done today in a situation like this, instead of a 92 all-out, India had got to 190, and one of these 3 had been a 65 not out.
That is what disappointed me.
Then you would have said, okay, that might be a big tick.
But they didn't. That's what disappointed me, because I think I saw Todd Astle bowl. I think if India had made 190, India could have won this game.
Yeah, there's just some help.
So anyway, that's my team. I'm not. I've defended it enough.
All right, that's 15 members. How many different players do you have from this squad? Do you have?
Well, different players. Most of the players have picked themselves up, and that's a great sign to judge a squad going to the World Cup. You have most of the players picking themselves up. When you talking about Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan, Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni. Maybe MS Dhoni. There's been a debate, but in my head there was never a debate when the debate was also going on. The main factor which will be up for debate is basically you want to go in with 4 fast bowlers and Hardik Pandya, or you want to take that chance of saying that, okay, Hardik Pandya is our 4th seamer. Because if you go in with that kind of approach, you will have that option of picking extra batsmen. Then Raidu and Karthik both probably can fit in the squad, or KL Rahul, and so between these 3 guys, I think 2 will get a nod. I still feel that 4th fast bowler option is very important, just considering the fact that World Cup is going to be a long tournament. So you don't want a bowler to come from outside and right away try to fit in the squad. So when you're picking a squad, you would want to cover all your bases, and that the important bases are to make sure your bowling lineup is sorted, because that's something in modern day cricket too much pressure to deal with for bowlers. You want their roles clearly defined. You want them settled. Another important factor which we always talk about is setting that tone. So the batsman also set that tone. So what if the top order, someone is missing out on game, someone is out of form, or for injury reasons are not being part of? So you got to cover that base. So that's where that 3rd opener slot also becomes vital. So KL Rahul and Raidu probably will be looked at that, because he's someone who can open the innings as well. So if KL Rahul is not in form and the management decides to overlook him with regard to the squad selection, then that can be an option. Raidu filling in that slot. Apart from that, I think you need that X factor of Rishabh Pant. I know that he is not part of the squad.
I was going to ask you that. So you put him in
because of what he has done in those 2 innings which he's played at the Test level as well. He has that ability to provide that X factor, that power to finish off the innings, and that's something can be crucial in days like these. In days like these, you've seen Hardik was trying to do that. He played few shots, But imagine if Hardik and Rishabh Pant batting at that scenario, and they both put up a good partnership. You know that partnership will come at a very fast pace, and it's at times when you have wickets down, you need to counter attack. You need to take the game to the opposition, and you need players to do that. So my still concern is whether Dinesh Karthik is that kind of a player. In terms of his ability, we all know that he's really evolved himself as a player. He has taken that responsibility of finishing the games, but he's been finishing the games when the platform has already been laid. But when you look at Rishabh Pant, the X factor which you're talking about is, even if you're down and out in the game, he's got ability to get the team back in a position of strength. So that's something which I've been given emphasis on. That's why Rishabh Pant at the moment is certainty in my World Cup squad. 4 bowlers is something which I will go with. You still have 3 all-rounders in Hardik, Ravindra Jadeja and Kedar Jadhav. I'm putting him in that category because last couple of years, whenever he's played, he's contributed with the ball. So that gives you a good balance, in terms of your squad being having 4 fast bowlers, 4 batsmen who are top order pure batsmen. You have 2 wicket-keeper batsmen, which you need on a tour as a backup wicket-keeper. You have 3 all-rounders, and you have Kulcha. So you can never go wrong with Kulcha. They've been very consistent and creating that pressure as well. So this gives a very good balance to the side, and in terms of your batting option, probably you can pick one between Raidu, KL and Karthik.
The reason I said I wanted that time is I saw what Rishabh Pant did a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday, against England Lions, where he came in at number 5 and India had lost wickets early, but he was 73 not out at runner ball, which means he's batting from 5. He's taking you to the end with a partnership of 120, 130 with Deepak Hooda, who's also a good cricketer. But that is why I want to see Rishabh Pant play in the one-days against Australia. He has to play those one-days, and then you can judge. So that's why I said, if the team is picked today, maybe not. If the team is picked then, I have a feeling Rishabh Pant will make a statement.
Just one final point, because I saw if you had to subtly look at the difference between 2 teams, composition could be an area. Is there a golden rule which you tell yourself about selection? Are you putting 15 slots in there and fitting players in? Or are you looking at players and saying they can perhaps play a slightly different role? Or do you literally say, okay, I have a fast bowler slot to be filled, so that's it, golden rule, I'm going to go with that? Or do you need to be flexible?
No, I think you need to prepare yourself for scenarios and situations. So when you pick that squad of 15, you would all 15 should be ready to play in the playing 11. And that's something which I would personally look at, and that's something which shows the strength of the squad as well. So here when you look at it, and that's why that 4th bowler at the moment debate will surely be there, because you have Bhuvneshwar, you have Bumrah, you have Shami now, who is probably secured that 3rd seamer spot. You have Hardik, who falls into that all-rounder category. Now the question is, who do you see as your 4th seamer? So if it's going to be Umesh, if it's going to be Khalil, if it's going to be Siraj, or probably there are a couple of names around, which is Siddharth Kaur, Shardul Thakur, who you've been investing in. If you look at the lead up to the World Cup, this is the way you go about it, right? That you've been trying to find those answers, and that's probably the reason even Shubman Gill also has been in the side, because you see that potential. So you have that middle order slot, and you have this option. So if you feel that my 4th seamer is not ready, then you can just back Hardik in that scenario and say, okay, fine, I'll take extra batsmen to the World Cup. But all my 15 should be ready to play if required.
Yeah, so it's not just India. We will look at the possible New Zealand 15, which Simon Dool will be sending in. Harsha's also got his New Zealand 15 ready when the match ends, which shouldn't be too long from now, because New Zealand have got off to a rollicking start as we had expected, just 93 to win and to make this 3-1, and importantly get that first bit of pride back into this one-day series, and of course a few individual performances to look at from New Zealand. So we will of course not have another Cricbuzz Combox, so it's fairly certain the way they're going This is the first time New Zealand have given us some certainty in this series. So we will see you very shortly, which is going to be in Cricbuzz Live as we wrap up and look at more #My World Cup Squads.